The touchdown, but watch him. He's fast enough to chase down runs on the backside. They don't peel back to block him. Tight end pulls around. You better find a way to get a body on him because he's...
The Carolina Panthers revamped their pass rusher in the draft by selecting Brian Burns, edge rusher out of Florida State with the 16th overall pick. Brian Burns has a solid football resume, and this dates back to his days at American Heritage High School outside of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Coming out of American Heritage, Brian Burns was one of the highest recruited players coming out of South Florida when he was in the same class as Nick Bosa, who went number 1 overall, and Calvin Ridley, who's the current wide receiver for the Atlanta Falcons. He was also teammates with Sony Michel, the current running back for the New England Patriots. With Brian Burns, they're getting a guy with elite athleticism. At his combine measurables tested in the high percentiles, meaning he's a one-of-a-kind athlete. He has fluid movement and a very flexible, bendy guy that can get around the edge and get to the quarterback in a hurry. To complement his speed rush, he's very technically sound, has great hand technique, and an advanced pass rush arsenal, which we'll touch on throughout this video. He also brings a solid level of versatility to the table and can be a great weapon in the Panthers' hybrid multiple front defense. He's played on the outside standing up as an edge rusher. He's put his hand in the dirt. They even moved him at linebacker at times to create favorable pass rush matchups. He had an extremely productive college career where he made first team All-ACC in 2018. He had 23 sacks, 38.5 tackles for losses, and forced a lot of fumbles, and was even able to get up and bat balls down. So with Brian Burns, they're getting a guy that will come in the field, make an impact immediately, and help the Panthers improve the pass rush, which struggled last season. So now let's get to the film.
Prior pass.
Ball is out on the hit by Florida State. Brian Burns is the guy that jarred it loose, and Louisville able to jump back on it.
With Brian Burns, it all begins with the speed rush, where he's able to use his elite ball get off to fire out of his stance, his flexibility to bend the corner, and his technique to be able to disengage from the offensive lineman. Watch here as he uses his dip and rip move, where he'll dip low, making himself a small target, and then now it's difficult for the tackle to get his hands on him. Look at his flexibility by how low he gets. Now watch him bend the corner and take the shortest distance to the quarterback possible. He's also going to use that rip move to disengage from the offensive tackle. Brian Burns' speed rush gives offensive tackles headaches, as he's able to just get them thinking speed, speed, speed all day, and then he's able to incorporate counter moves to complement his speed rush. When you look at the combine, watch the cone drills, where you see some DNs are able to make those sharp cuts around the cones, while others aren't able to do that because they don't have that level of agility and flexibility, so they have a more rounded turn. When you take a more rounded turn like that, you're giving the quarterback that extra split second to be able to get rid of the ball. So with Brian Burns, his bend and flexibility, he's able to get to the quarterback much faster.
With this Clemson team.
3rd and 9. Here's Bryant. Can't get out of the pressure.
What makes Brian Burns so difficult to block is his active, violent hands. He uses this chop move very well. Watch here as he fires off the ball, and he's able to use this chop move to disengage from the offensive tackle. Now he's disarmed him, and the tackle is off balance and useless. Now watch how low he gets. It's like he's picking up a penny off the turf, and he's going to bend the corner at a sharp angle and take the shortest path to the quarterback. Brian Burns' hand technique is one thing I think separates him from a lot of defensive ends and takes him to that next level. When you look at this draft, I think Nick Bosa was the most complete defensive end in this class, but as far as pure pass rush ability, I think the best pure pass rusher was Brian Burns.
For him, this defense has done a good job. They got to stay strong.
There's Brian Burns into the lap of the quarterback and down.
Threat of Brian Burns' speed rush allows him to set up his inside counter moves. Watch here as he gets the blocker thinking speed, 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 then he's going to counter with his inside swim move. Then he's able to get to the quarterback in a hurry. One thing I really like about Brian Burns is he's able to string a lot of moves together and just has a very advanced pass rush arsenal for a guy coming out this young. Watch here as he'll use this rip move where he'll come underneath to disengage from the tackle. and can get the quarterback out of the pocket and allow his teammates to clean up the job.
18 now.
Jackson flushed, chased, sacked back in hokey territory by Brian Burns.
I talked earlier about Brian Burns' ability to string combinations of pass rush moves together. Watch here against Virginia Tech as he executes this chop spin move. What he'll do here is he'll fire out of his stance to get the offensive tackle thinking that the speed rush is coming. Watch how the tackle retreats out of his stance to prevent Burns from turning the corner. Now he's got him right where he wants him. He'll use this chop move to disengage him so he can't use his hands and then spin back inside. Now he's got his man defeated and he's able to pin his ears down and get after the quarterback. This chop spin move was one thing that Brian Burns was able to use very effectively throughout his career at Florida State. Areas where Brian Burns can evolve as a pass rusher, I would say I would like to see him incorporate more power moves into his arsenal. You know, we saw his combination of speed and quickness to defeat his blocker, but at the NFL, you just got to be able to mix it up. The more you can mix it up and give them different looks, the more effective you'll be. You know, maybe he'll come out and use more quickness to set up a bull rush, get the lineman on his back foot, and shove him into the quarterback's lap. You'd also, another thing Ron Rivera mentioned at his press conference was at times Brian Burns gets caught looking at the ball and is focused on getting to the passer and making a play on the ball as opposed to defeating his man. What you would rather sort of see him do is defeat his man first and then focus on getting the quarterback and making a play. Now let's watch Brian Burns in the run game. Overall, I was surprised how effective he was able to set the edge given his size. You know, he's physical at the point of attack. He uses his long arms when he engages blockers to keep them at bay, and he forces the running back inside. Unfortunately, nobody's there to make the tackle for a loss, but with Luke Kuechly, things will change when he gets to the pros. He's also able to run plays down from behind. Sometimes plays are designed where the backside defensive end goes unblocked because he shouldn't be a factor in the play. But with Brian Burns' ability to run plays down from behind, he has to be accounted for at all times. Another thing I think he's very effective at is blowing up read option plays. He has a high football IQ, and he's just able to get in the backfield in a hurry and create havoc. Just watch how explosive he is off the ball. The play doesn't have a chance from the get-go. Against Clemson, he made 2 good goal line plays that helped set the tone for the game.
Second and goal, ball came out, fumble, and it's Florida State.
This year, Brian Burns, give him credit right off the edge. Anytime you have a zone read situation, you're forcing the quarterback to make this decision to give or pull. The same thing coming off the edge, 99. This time, Kelly Bryant tries to keep it, hadn't secured it, and Matthew Thomas tries to pick it up.
Let's look at some plays that demonstrate Brian Burns' versatility. Oftentimes, Florida State would line him up as a linebacker and he'd drop back in coverage and cover the flat area. Watch here as he covers the flat and is able to get the quarterback to hesitate, then get in and get on the sack. On here, he's showing as an A-gap blitzer and they use a crossfire blitz. You know, he's lined up as a linebacker. What you'll see if you watch some of the previous video I did on the hybrid scheme, this is the same way the Panthers used Mario Addison. You know, he's just such a great athlete. He's able to disrupt the passer even when the pass rush doesn't get home. You know, he's able to get up and bat balls down and help make plays for this defense. There's just so many ways Brian Burns can impact the game, and I just think that's why he'll be an immediate impact player for the Carolina Panthers in this upcoming season.
99 Burns, defensive end, very mobile, athletic, pursuing, chasing. I mean, he's a sprinter. He's taking long strides.